We can see that in the first qualifier, we had Dolan, Pure Legacy, Riser, and Trigger. And today already, we've had Skylar alongside Eurystheus. So a lot of Terran and not that much Zerg, to be honest. Unfortunately, there's just not that much Zerg in the region anymore. A big name that you may notice is missing is Silky. Silky was the best Zerg player in America last year, but this year he decided to step away from the game and focus on studying. It's a bit of a shame. Honestly, I was a Silky fan. Legitimately. Yeah. But enough of that, because here we go. We are diving in into game number 1 of this best of 5 series and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade ALE. We have the Canadian Zerg player representing Team Exxon. It is Bioice. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade ALE, we have the American Protoss. He is blue, representing himself. He is Zen. Oh boy. Also, welcome Sinistra, welcome to the stream. Mio is in the Oceanic closed qualifier already though. Yes, Mio is invited. Open Cup on Tuesday. So this is where communication can break down a little bit. So I, of course, do live in Australia, and for me, today is Friday. And ESL Open Cup America is on Tuesdays, not on Monday. So yeah. Things can be a little bit confusing when it comes to time zones and separate hemispheres. Desafiantes will be on Tuesday for America and on Wednesday for me. The day after ESL Open Cup Americas. So yes, it's exciting. It doesn't clash with anything. We are going to be running that for the players who don't qualify for the main event for Latin America. Oh boy, gonna be very exciting. And yes, when it comes to Oceania, oh god, it's still going to be a bloodbath. There are a lot of strong players that are going to be there from Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia has a lot of terrifying Protoss players. They have Justice Simon, they have Thuck Lao, they've got Quantel, Leo Rusher, Ranger. Oh boy. I'm worried for my boys. I have a lot of faith in Oreo. Like Oreo is the strongest Zerg player in Australia, but a lot of it will come down to the bracket for the qualifier, like especially because there's limited seeding as well. So fingers crossed. Oh god, Yaku's gonna be there holding my hand for the Oceania qualifiers tonight. Also, unfortunately, the Oceania qualifiers also run at the same time as the Chinese qualifiers, so we're gonna have to make a decision later on whether we want to cast the Chinese qualifiers straight after the Oceania ones, or if we think it's even worth it, depending on how far the Chinese qualifiers go. It may be too late to join it, like it may already be ending. So we have some decisions to make later on tonight. But here we go. Meanwhile, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Biomol, for the raid. I hope you enjoyed your broadcast today. And I hope Drunken Boy versus his opponent was a good series. Hold on, Drunken Boy versus Zero. I did see that you were casting that. Hope you had a lot of fun. I know we did, especially with Skylar. Skylar was, mate, he's an insane player, and all of his series ended in at least like 5 minutes. It was crazy. But here we go. We are getting into the final qualifying match of the night. Things have slowly been picking up. Bioice, you know, pretty standard so far, going for his third hatchery, just droning up. Meanwhile, Zen has opted to go for that Stargate opener. Did reveal his hand, going for the Phoenix, and pretty interesting choice that he's opting to go for Phoenixes and not Void Rays. Void Rays have become a lot more standard in recent time, but I guess Zen is a little bit more comfortable with Phoenixes as he's continuing to produce them. Not just getting one to clear out Overlords or anything like that. So yeah, very interesting choice. Again, I'm not very familiar with Zen at all and his playstyle, so I'm curious to see what he has to offer here. What he plans to go for with all of these Phoenixes. Obviously, with Mass Phoenix, you can do a lot of damage. You can dive in, you can pick up the Queens, you can pick up a bunch of workers, and if you have enough Phoenixes, you can even ignore the spores. But what I'm concerned about is that because he's investing so much into Phoenixes, his ground army suffers as a result, and Bioice is getting ready for a Roach push. As the Roach Warren is on the way, so is that lair. We'll see. We'll see. Regardless, it's gonna take quite some time for Bioice to really get a decent enough roach force to send out across the map. He is being active with this wave of lings, just confirming, hey, there's no third base. I'm just containing you to 2 bases at the moment. Meanwhile, the Phoenixes do show up. Oh, do get a couple of drone kills despite the Spore, despite the Queen. Doesn't lose any of his Phoenixes yet. Meanwhile, we have a second Spore on the way, and I mean, these are the precautions that you need to make, right? Especially when you're up against Mass Phoenix. Sometimes one Spore just isn't enough. As we can see, more drones are getting picked off. Mate, where are the Queens? The Queens are just chilling at the third base. They're not reacting at all. Oh my god, Bioice. He's just relying on the lone Spores and the lone Queens at each base. He's not really maneuvering at all with the extra Queens that he has available to him. And as a result, he lost a lot more workers than he really should have. 7 drones going down. Meanwhile, Zen is pushing out, looking to try and get that expansion up and running. Does take out the Ling. Does throw down the Nexus. Meanwhile, ooh, I like this. We do have a Robotics Bay finishing up here. This should be, now I don't like it so much. I was about to say, yo, Disruptors are going to be great to defend against any kind of Roach Ravager push. It's so difficult to split up your Roach Ravager army. Colossus, they do well against Lings. They do well against Lings. So I'm a little bit concerned for them when it comes to how they're going to deal with the Roach Ravager army. But I could be getting ahead of myself. As we see, Bioice is throwing down a Spire behind his natural mineral line. Is looking to potentially go into Mutas, and so far this has not been scouted. Despite all these Phoenixes being active out on the map, they just haven't really dipped into the natural base, so he has no idea. Right now he's focusing on his defense, which is fair, right? He did just scout the roaches coming across the map. And he should have enough here. The shield batteries are finishing up in the natural base. He's got his Colossus, got his Immortals, even got his Phoenixes to pick up the roaches, and there aren't even any Ravagers to snipe those Phoenixes that are stationary. So, yeah, we'll see what damage he can get done. Overcharge is used at the natural just to hold on. The roaches are going for a bit of a wraparound, going for a surround on the Colossus. Yo, and can he get it? The Colossus immediately evacuates, escapes to the natural base, but the rest of the army does get swallowed up by the Zerg. And this is what I was concerned about. Like, Phoenixes are great and all, but imagine if these Phoenixes were Void Rays instead, you know? Like, Void Rays would be having such an easier time defending against this ground aggression. Meanwhile, the Lings, they want to get a surround on the Colossus, and they do! The Colossus, oh god, it just barely manages to escape the grasp of those Lings. A lot of supply was wasted there. Finally, Bioice does go for the mineral line, doesn't get too many workers. God, Zen is doing a really good job at defending with the bare minimum, but oh my god, the Colossus is starting to take some damage, but he is able to hold on. And at the end of the day, I'm honestly shocked. Zen has lost 0 probes. Wow. Just wow. And Bioice, despite scouting all of those Phoenixes, he's still going for Mutas. What a madman. Or stubborn is probably the better way to put it. We'll see how he does. Again, a mass amount of Mutas are out here for Bioice. Zen, his Phoenixes are out of position. He only has 4 of them. He has no idea about the Mutas that are coming across the map. And what is the mineral line looking like? There is nothing here to defend the mineral line. There are no shield batteries. There's no cannons. There's no stalkers. There's nothing. And now the Mutas, they dive straight in, and they're going to have a field day here, mate. All the probes are forced off the line. The Phoenixes do show up, but the Phoenixes, oh, a bit of mismicro. They do miss the Mutas. And again, they do not have Anion Pulse Crystals. One of the Phoenixes do fall. Meanwhile, at the same time, we have a Ling Roach run by at the third base. Zen, he's being pulled apart right now. His entire army responded to the Mutas, and that left his third base exposed. And now, earlier the defense was impeccable. Earlier he lost 0 probes, but now, mate, the probes, they just keep falling all over the place. In the main base, in the third. There's no mining in the main. Barely any here at the third. And the Mutas, they're still a threat. They're still here in the main, just dealing even more damage to the production. And it looks like Zen has had enough. He's going across the map with whatever he has. Whatever Stalkers, Phoenixes, Colossus, and Sentries. I don't know if this is going to work out for him. He just doesn't really have a buffer. And now the Road Ravager, they're getting on top of the Colossus. One Colossus immediately gets focused down. The second Colossus, the third, everything falls. GG gets called, and Bioice takes game number 1. Have a great rest of the qualifiers, Ducklings. Thank you, Biomorph. Missed out on the best one though. Game 1 was 37 minutes and I crashed out at I crashed 2 minutes in. No, Biomorph, please. I was concerned, Biomorph, because I saw that Drunken Boy versus Zero started. And they were in the middle of game 1 and no one was casting. I was like, what? How did that happen? Like, oh, what's going on? Apparently you crashed. Feels bad, man. At least you were able to cast the rest of the series. Whew. But what a game. Oh, as we do remake. Looks like they forgot about WCS Game Heart. Thank you so much, Bioice. We appreciate it. Gracias, gracias. Yeah, what a game. Just interesting choices from everyone, right? It was bold of Bioice to go for Mutas even though he saw a Phoenix opening. Thankfully, Bioice never got scattered. That is really where Zen was lacking when it came to his scouting information, whether it was with hallucinations or his own Phoenixes. He was just really struggling there. His base defense was good to begin with, but then when the Mutas showed up, it did look like Zen was panicking a little bit, and things really got chaotic and out of control. And Bioice was able to take the game. I'm impressed, though. I'm impressed by how Zen started out. It wasn't necessarily one-sided by any means. And that's impressive to me, because, again, to me, Zen is more of an unknown player, and Bioice is the old veteran. So we'll see if Zen can hold up to Bioice. Just checking races, just making sure everything is good. And we are diving into game number 2. Here we go. Looks like this will take place on 2,000 atmospheres. LE. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres. We have the Canadian Zerg player. He is red, representing Team Exxon. It is Bioice. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres, LE, we have his opponents. Ooh, we have his American opponent, the Blue Protoss, representing himself. It is Zen. Oh boy, oh boy. As a reminder to everyone, this is a best of 5. This is the final qualifying match. The winner of this series advances on. The loser will have to try again next season. And we'll see if Zen can make a series out of this. Again, I'm very impressed by how he played last game. I'm impressed that he was able to keep up with Bioice for as long as he did. And we'll see if he can continue that. I'm really curious to see how he opens up as well, and what kind of versatility he has in his PvZ openers. Game number 1, we saw him open up with a Stargate and go Phoenixes. Does he have something else in his repertoire? You know, can he go Glaive Adepts? Can he open up with Void Rays? Can he, you know, what else does he have to offer us? Can he go Charge the Archon? Can he whip out the Blink Stalkers? We'll see what he whips out in game 2, and it's going to be on Bioice to scout and make sure that he is on point with how he reacts. I have to wonder that because Bioice went for the Spire and went for Mutas in game 1, it may be something that he just enjoys doing, like just regardless of what his opponent has in store for him. Even if his opponent already has Phoenixes, it's like, yo, let's go Mutas. Maybe he's enjoys microing them and using them. It's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes Mutas again, to be honest. Muta switch, I should say, not straight into Spire. That'd be insane. Hi puppy, what's up for sure? Was there a dog in the background? I didn't hear. God damn it. Meanwhile, there we go. Once again, Zen is opening up with that Stargate. Is it going to be Phoenixes? Is it going to be Oracles? Or Void Rays? We shall see. Meanwhile, everything is pretty standard for Bioice. Pretty interesting that he took the triangular third base. It is a little bit closer to his opponents. You can be a little bit more aggressive, especially with your creep sped. It will advance across the map a little bit faster. So, interesting choice here by Bioice. As his Overlord does sit on top of the natural, but it is forced away by the Stalker. He does not have another Overlord in position to dive into the main base, unfortunately, and I don't like this. Zen is going Phoenixes again. Now, what I'm concerned about is that, again, because Zen is more of an unknown player, this is telling me maybe this is like his preferred way of playing, and maybe his only way of playing. That's what I'm concerned about right now. There's a lot you can do as Protoss in PvZ. Hopefully this is just the first step, and then he transitions as he's going for Phoenixes once again, and we saw how that worked out for him in the previous game. I mean, sure, he was able to kill a lot of workers, that was pretty impressive, but when it came to the main attack and the eventual mutas, he was caught very unawares. You could argue that maybe if Zen was just more diligent with his scouting in game number 1, he would have had a better chance, he would have been more prepared, and the game would have turned out differently. And maybe that's how Zen is thinking right now. Maybe he's like, yo, put me in, coach, just put me in again. I won't let you down. I know I can do this. Just need to tighten things up a little bit. And maybe game 2 will go a little bit better for him. Meanwhile, Bioice is going straight into a lair. There we go, Roach Horn is thrown down. So likewise, this is turning out just like game number 1 for both of these players. You know, we've got a Roach Horn and we've got a lair. We've got Phoenixes coming out for Zen. Zen hasn't gone in for any worker kills yet. He does have 3 Phoenixes now. And this third base is the most fortified, as there are 3 queens here. So a bit risky diving in. Does get 1 worker. Does get pushed away. We'll see if he rotates over to the third base. Sorry, the main base. And Bioice once again makes a massive wave of lings, and he's going across the map to check the third and make Zen's life hard. Very difficult when it comes to trying to expand. As the Phoenixes dive in, get a lot of worker kills. Ooh, 4 go down in the main. And he barely loses. Oh my god! 5? Soon 6? Okay, he's content with 5 for now. Ay, ay, ay. And yeah, once again, Zen is going for that Robotic Spay. This is a little bit faster. Going for that Colossus. I imagine Colossus again. I'm just waiting for the moment when Zen decides to expand. He just hasn't moved out yet. Still staying on 2 bases. Meanwhile, Bioice, he's just been droning up, you know, looking perfectly fine, up to 58 workers. Now, finally, he's starting that Roach production, going to be going across the map again. And there we go, Zen does move out with his army. Does look to throw down his expansion. At the same time, that triggers Bioice. He's going in with his lings. Maybe try to slip into the natural. Oh, he checks. He sees the Zealot. Does back off. Oh, doesn't find any damage yet. Nice response by Zen. On point with his army and his natural. Phoenixes come back just in case, and here come the Roaches once again. Bioice hitting a little bit faster here with his Roaches, looking to try and, oh my god, he's just flooding lings right now. He's just going, he's just sending it. And the shield batteries are on the way now, but you know what? It's too late. Zen, he did not catch this in time. And does he have enough to defend? Only 1 shield battery, mate. You need more. Oh god, and as soon as that force field finishes, there we go. The Roaches do flood in. Would you see the Immortals trying to fight, but they get surrounded by lings, and the cannon and shield battery there are not in position. Forces a recall. Does recall to the safety of the main base. Thankfully, a Void Ray does pop out. Oh god, at least he knows how to make those. I was a little bit concerned. Ooh, but the Roaches do get into the main base. They are getting some worker kills at the same time. Lings and Roaches are hitting that third base, looking to try and force a cancel. It looks like the Nexus will finish. Can he hold on to it though? Can he hold on to his army as he gets surrounded? Aye. It looks like there aren't too many roaches and the lings are getting cleaned up, so Bioice honestly isn't trading that amazingly. As the roaches do get pushed away, they will get cleaned up. And once again, mate, this is what I'm talking about. Game 1 and now Game 2, Zen, his defense is just on point. He barely lost any probes. He lost 4. Things were looking crazy there and he only lost 4 probes. And now he's going across the map, going for a counterattack. He has to be careful. There is only 1 Ravager, but there are still plenty of roaches. Oh god, no, the Colossus, please, get away! He does micro back as best he can, but yo, the Roach Ravager, he gets the Immortal. He's going to get the Colossus. He's going to clean up everything here on the ground. Zen, he defended so well. Going for the counterattack was not the play, as he loses everything. And that was a big loss there for Zen. Now Bioice, he's going across the map with his roaches, and now what is there left to defend? The Immortal's gone, the Colossus is gone. The gateway count was reset. We have 1 Colossus popping out now, but it's a little bit too late. GG gets called. And Bioice takes game 2. Zen, mate, you just had to defend. You just had to chill at home. Like, I think that's something that comes with a little bit of inexperience. I think this comes with a little bit of inexperience where Zen, he defended very well. And you're like adrenaline pumping, right? You know, you're excited. You're like, I'm doing it. I defended. I'm winning this fight. Let's go. He goes across the map. And it's like, Zerg. They can remax. They can rebuild their army relatively quickly. And again, Bioice, his macro did not slip. Zen, he realized a little bit too late. I should not be here. I should not be being this aggressive right now. He tries to back off, but it's a little bit too late. Bioice was able to chase everything down and take the game. Again, even though it's been a 2-0, there are glimpses, there are shimmers of hope here for Zen. Like, there's definitely talent there. He definitely has his strengths, but he also has his weaknesses. GG. GG, well played. Also, shout out to Sinistro in the chat. For those wondering, he is the head admin, the head honcho over on ESL. Without Sinistro, these ESL qualifiers and the ESL Pro Tour in general just wouldn't be running anywhere near as smoothly as it is. It's the man behind the scenes. As we are getting ready for game number 3. And we'll see, is this going to be a 3-0 or can Zen bring it back? Can he put a point on the board? Colossus doing his best Star Trek impression. Oh god. Feels bad, man. Alright, here we go. Game number 3. And this player here in the bottom left-hand corner is on match point. He just needs 1 more to qualify for the closed qualifier. And he is, of course, the bottom left-hand Zerg player, hailing from the land of Canada, also representing Team Exxon. It is Bioice. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the American Protoss. He is purple, representing himself up against the wall. This is it. This is his last chance to bring it back. It is Zen. Am I seeing things? Also, shout out to Rila Kuma in the chat. Rila Kuma, you were competing last night in the Chinese qualifiers, right? If I'm not wrong. Well, GG. Best of luck to you in DreamHack. I actually want to double check that. Maybe 1M? So I quickly check as things quickly get underway. Nothing too crazy going on here with Bioice. Yeah, Rila Kuma, Taiwanese, sorry, not in the Chinese qualifier, Taiwanese Zerg player, there we go, aka Mystery Man. Shout out to Rila Kuma. Rila Kuma actually qualified for the Taiwan, Hong Kong closed qualifier, I believe, if I'm not wrong, I think, right? Boy, as I quickly check here. Yes, he did. Boy, and we'll see who will also kind of join him in a way. in a way. As Bioice, he's just expanding, getting his third base up and running, just turning up, everything pretty standard here so far in these openers. Meanwhile, Zen once again going for the Stargate, not deviating at all, and this is where I express my concerns once again, where it does seem like Zen has one way of playing this matchup out, or this is maybe his best way of playing this matchup out. He is more of an amateur player, he is kind of a semi-pro, and he's doing his best here against Bioice. And I would say from what I've seen, I said this in game number 2, and I'll say it again here in game 3, like, he does have his strengths, like his defenses are on point every single time he's been able to defend against what Bioice has been able to dish out. But he does need to refine things a little bit, you know. I think map awareness and scouting is really where he lacks. It's really what cost him both games, to be honest. And it's hard to really adapt that quickly in the middle of a series. Things are looking really grim for Zen, not gonna lie. And things are looking really good for Bioice. And you know what? Zergs need the win here because, you know, otherwise there's only going to be one Zerg in the closed qualifier, right? We need some more representation. As the Phoenixes do pop out. Going across the map to do whatever they can do. They do take out one of the Overlords. Maybe they can find another. But nothing quite yet. And there we go, spores are being thrown down. Bioice, now he knows, hey, you're just doing the same thing. You're just gonna go for Phoenixes. So far, both games, Zen has been able to deal a lot of economic damage despite being scouted, despite Bioice being semi-prepared for the Phoenixes. So we'll see if he can do so again. I believe last time he killed around 7 drones with 3 Phoenixes. The third Phoenix did just pop out. Is going across the map to meet up with the others. And there we go, Bioice going for that Roach Warren, this time no lair. Interesting. Last time Bioice prioritized that lair and Roach Warren and went for Roach Speed. This time he's mixing things up a little bit here. Delaying that lair. Meanwhile, ooh, so is Zen. Zen going in with 2 Adepts. Oh, the Adepts, though, they run into 3 Queens. Aye. They're not going to find any damage here. They have been focus firing the drones, though, and 3 drones have already gone down. Forces a transfuse on a drone, even. At the same time, 4 Phoenixes do show up in the main base. Again, only 1 Queen here and 1 Spore, so damage will be done. And Bioice, once again, just doesn't respond with his Queens. I guess that time he didn't need to, but 7 drones do fall. Nice damage done by Zen. I mean, again, he's been consistent with this. Like, his Phoenix control has always been on point. But now it's about the follow-up, you know, and this is where things can get a little bit shaky. And this is where Bioice really gets into his stride. As we have the Roaches coming out here, still no lair, and again, it looks like, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he wants to go for a Queen push, as he has 8 Queens. And there we go, the creep is being spread. He did take the triangular third as well, so the creep spread is already headed towards across the map. And there we go, let's waddle those Queens. Oh boy, as they are just marching across the map with everything else. Roaches, Ravagers, massive wave of Lings on the way. Bioice, he is going for a very strong push, and I do not believe Zen has seen it. Zen catches a glimpse of a Ravager. I don't think he noticed. Oh god. Okay, now he sees. He knows 100%. Is it too late? This is a very scary attack coming out here from Bioice. Immediately, Zen, he evacuates the third base. He gives it up. You need shield batteries, mate. Where are they? Oh my god, you don't just need shield batteries, though. You need more pylons because, again, there are Ravagers. The Ravagers can bile down that pylon and just depower everything. Meanwhile, the Lings almost get in. They almost get into the main base. Sorry, the natural. Meanwhile, the third is buying a little bit of time, mate. Cancel, cancel. He does cancel at the last moment. Meanwhile, we do have a cannon and a shield battery on the way. Still no additional pylons, still no additional shield batteries. Honestly, I'm very concerned for Zen. There we go. Finally, he's throwing them down. But it could be too late. The Red Ravager is pushing up the ramp. The Biles are landing on the Cyber Core and the cannon. The cannon immediately falls. Overcharge hasn't been used yet. Maybe he wants to save it. A Disruptor just barely comes out. And Disruptors are so good in this defense. One shot goes off. It does land with the Queens. The Queens, though, they have plenty of energy. They do transfuse each other. But honestly, Zen, he's holding. Oh god, can he just barely hold a little bit longer? The Phoenixes dive in. He picks up every single Queen. Overcharge finally used. He was so patient with that overcharge. Oh my god, and Bioice, mate. He couldn't pull it off. The Queens are all being focused down. Oh, a couple of Ravager shots, though. Do take out two of the Phoenixes. Now, Zen is held. Please don't go for a counterattack. Or maybe that would be a good opportunity. As we kind of take stock, Bioice, he expanded behind this. He's taking a fourth base. Lair did finish. He's working on his upgrades as well. Hydra Den and Infestation Pit. He does want to go into Hydra Lurker, which does make a lot of sense. Obviously, the ideal unit that will help him right now is a Viper. Vipers will just shut this down completely, just abduct all the Colossus and the Disruptors. And honestly, there's not a lot here to defend. Honestly, I feel like Zen would have found some success if he did go for a counterattack, but I understand his hesitation. Like, I mean, his life was on the line just there. Like, he almost died. Things are looking very scary for Zen. So and he's lost the game for counterattacking in the past, so he is being a little bit safer, a little bit more secure, and now we're getting into a longer game. Oh boy, meanwhile, shout out to Andy, man, in the chat. Thank you so much for subscribing 6 months in a row. Gracias, thank you so much. Oh, you stop that. Ay, ay, ay. And here we go. The Lurker Den is about to finish up. Hive is about to finish up as well. I imagine it's going to be Bioice's mistake if he goes in too soon. Ideally, he wants to wait for his Vipers. And then with Hydra Lurker Viper, you push in and you just have your way with the Protoss. Meanwhile, Zen, it's on him to try and hit before the Vipers come out. Vipers on the way, but they need time to gather that energy to suck on some of those buildings. So there's a good opportunity here for Zen. It's going to be all about those Disruptor shots. Oh boy, oh boy. We'll see how he does. The Lurkers do burrow here. They do reveal themselves, and Zen, he's not feeling it. He's like, oh god, can I really push into 8 Lurkers? Nah, mate, it's not going to happen. Does back off. I say 8, really 5. And now, Bioice has bought enough time where the Vipers are coming out. Ooh. Biles do land, does take out a sentry. And again, Bioice is just buying time, buying as much time as possible. Upgrades are about to finish up. 3 more Vipers are on the way. Ugh, things are not looking good for Zen. We've been talking a lot about what Bioice is doing. Now let's have a look at Zen. Zen needs High Templar. Simple as that. He does have a Templar Archives. It literally just finished. He needs High Templar for a variety of reasons. Storm would be amazing. More importantly, feedbacks. You need to be able to dance with the Vipers' feedback before they get their abducts off. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to pull off, but it is possible. And it's really his only answer to the Vipers. Oh boy. Meanwhile, here comes Bioice up the left-hand side of the map. There is a Colossus to meet the army, and he does push away the Lings. Meanwhile, we have another small force here for Bioice looking to maybe slip into the main base. Oh, there's no wall! The wall hasn't been remade. The Lings, they do slip on into the main base. Meanwhile, the rest of the Hydras were pushed away. We do see the rest of the army looking to try and sneak into the third. There are disruptors. They are honestly exposed. Honestly, those things could dive on top of them. The disruptor shots go off. They whiff. They miss. But the Colossus are here to defend. At the same time, the Lings are wreaking havoc in the main base and at the third. 12, 13 drones go down. Probes even. Meanwhile, the Vipers, they get a little bit ahead of themselves. I did not realize how little anti-air there was. The majority of the Hydras were morphed into lurkers, so the Phoenixes are actually dealing damage to these Vipers, but not enough. Meanwhile, we do have a Hydra force pushing into the natural base. This should be cleaned up. There are a couple of High Templar. Oh my god, and Bioice, he just repositions, he pivots over to the fourth base here, borrows all of his lurkers. It looks like this Nexus will go down. We'll see if Zen can deal with this. Again, there's still 3 high energy Vipers. Come on, show me the feedbacks. No feedbacks. Instead, the Colossus does get abducted. Double abducted. Oh, the purification numbers go up, but they don't land. Zen, please. He does back off. Loses a base and a lot of probes. This is not looking good for Zen, mate. Oh, the purification never goes off again, doesn't connect. Oh, feedbacks do land, but a little bit too late. Oh my god, the abducts still happen. Ay, ay, ay. And with that, what, he has 1 disruptor remaining, 2 Colossus. Because Bioice doesn't have any abducts, it's a little bit dodgy, but mate, he doesn't care. He just burrows in the face of the Protoss. And there's just too much Zerg. The Hydras, the lurkers, they just push, they just plow on forward. And even though there was a very juicy disruptor shot, it just doesn't look like there's enough. There are just too many lurkers. Far too many. The detection even gets taken out. There's nothing that can reveal the lurkers. GG gets called, and Bioice will take the series 3-0 and will qualify for the NA closed qualifiers. Oh, GG, well played. Congratulations, Bioice. Well played, well fought. Zen played well there. I don't think it was incredibly one-sided. There were definitely moments there where he was maybe even ahead. Like, his defenses were on point. It was great. A lesser player would have died to the first push of Bioice. Let's be real here. But unfortunately, Zen, he's still lacking in other aspects of the game, and I'm looking forward to see him grow as a player. Obviously not this season, but maybe in future seasons, maybe in season 2 or even DreamHack Winter. It would be great to see him evolve as a player if he sticks with the game. I do hope he does. I definitely hope he does. And with that, GG, congratulations. And we now have all of our players qualified for the closed qualifier. As I just quickly showed on the screen right now, on the stream even, we do see all the invited players for the main event and all the invited players for the closed qualifier. And now we have rounded everything off with all the players from the open qualifier. If you want to have a look at the bracket, !B in the chat. You'll be linked to the ESL bracket as well as the Liquipedia page. The Liquipedia page has all the information there compiled for your pleasure. You can also have a look at some of the other regions as well, as they still have plenty of qualifiers to go. Speaking of, we will be live in, as I quickly refresh and check, we will be live in just under 8 hours, as I quickly check, 7.5 hours with the very first Oceania Qualifier. Oceania and rest of Asia, where players like Oreo, Starduck, Pez, Azure/Demi, I can't remember which one of them got invited, the other has to go through the open qualifier. And many others will be competing as well to qualify for the closed qualifiers of their region. And I will be casting that alongside Yakuzaku. We have a lot of we have a lot invested in the Oceania qualifiers because we do of course have players, our very own CranKy Ducklings players competing there. Fun fact for those who didn't see, the CranKy Ducklings, we actually have our pro team. We got contracts going. We signed 5 players. We have 3 in Latin America and 2 in Australia, and they will be representing the CranKy Ducklings in DreamHack. Oh boy, oh boy. So we're wishing them the best of luck. They've been practicing very hard these past couple of weeks, these past couple of months even. Let's see if they can make it through. Oreo has a really good chance. Starduck, he also has a chance, but oh god, there are a lot of good players there. Yes, he has to really be on point tonight. Meanwhile, in Latin America, Eric is already invited to the main event. So we already have a sure thing there with Eric. Ryu had a really good showing in qualifier number 1, but he just barely didn't make the cut in that qualifier. He went all the way to the ace match against Chaos Fate, and Chaos Fate ended up qualifying in the end. So Ryu will have to try again in qualifier number 2, and so will Neo. Both Ryu and Neo have been practicing very hard, taking this very seriously, and I wish them the best of luck. Best of luck indeed. And with that, we are done for the night. Again, thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate the support. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We had a lot of fun series. Shout out to all the players who did make it through. Shout out to Skylar as well. Skylar, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun following him today. Great player, great character. And yeah, I hope everyone had a good time. Everyone had a good time. Shout out to the people who rated us as well. Bioice, hope if you're still there, I hope you had a good cast. And with that, we are done. We're done here. I'm gonna go have some breakfast and pass out. And wake up in time for the next broadcast. For if you're wondering, we are going to be casting every single DreamHack qualifier here on this channel, so make sure to hit that follow button. The only qualifiers that we do not cover are the European qualifiers, because we have to sleep at some point, and they are not at the best time for us. We will also be covering the closed qualifiers here, and we will also be the official B stream for the main event for Oceania, China, and Taiwan, Hong Kong, all 3 of those regions. So they will not be casted on this channel. We will be live on ESL_SE2B. That's where the B stream will be, but we'll be casting that. So yeah, hit that follow button. We've got plenty of StarCraft here on this channel, on the CranKy Ducklings. Thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you next time. Ciao!